So how do we open a new folder in VS Code?
You have to click File.
Yeah, file, and then
Click Open.
good, and then what do we have to do? What is this sidebar saying? It's saying that from which location you want to open the folder. Okay, so we're gonna say,
Yes,
let's
you can
say,
click that.
yeah, you can click whatever you want wherever your folder is present. So we're gonna say we are going to have a new folder in desktop. It could be anywhere, and we are going to then create a new folder, and let's name it flex site rev, yeah, meaning revision. Okay, so let me select this folder. So now we have this folder open. So how many files do we need to have at the beginning? How many files do we need? Like how many files there should be?
Two main files.
Yeah, and what are those two main files?
Index.
Yeah, good. And the second one was?
Style.
Yeah, good. So why does it have to be named index? Why not any other name? Why does it have to be index?
Was it because it's like from default?
Yeah, good. So basically, whenever you upload your website on a live server where everyone could see it, so this file, this index file, is, it runs automatically. Yeah, like you don't have to tell it to run; it runs automatically. So the main file should always be named index, and what should be the extension for it?
HTML.
Good. .html. Okay, so the other file is going to be, you can name it again whatever you want, but the convention is styles.css. Okay, so how do we generate the boilerplate? Yeah, how do we generate it?
Control.
Yeah, and then
Question mark.
control and
No, exclamation point.
exclamation mark. Control and 1. Yeah. So this is your boilerplate. These were some new tags we've discussed. Meta tags is basically the information that is the information about the information. Okay, so you just need to know about this one. Basically it tells us about the character set, this the coding character set. Okay, and this one is basically for responsiveness. And what is responsiveness? Basically your website adapting to your screen size is called responsiveness. We are going to discuss it in details in the coming lectures, but what you need to know right now is basically it's something you need to have in your website. Okay, so let's give it a title of, let's say, KFC Pakistan or whatever. Save. How do we run this? How do we run this file?
Go live.
Yeah, good. Go live. Okay, so we now have this file. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to change this thing. What is this thing called?
Icon.
Which icon? It has a special name. It is an icon, yeah, but it's a special icon.
An image.
No, it's called something else.
Oh,
Starts with an F.
favicon.
Favicon, yeah, good. So for favicon we are going to have, let's say, search for KFC logo images, and yeah, this one. Okay, right click, copy image address, and where do we put the favicon? Inside the body, inside the head, inside HTML. Where do we put it?
The head.
Yeah, good, the head. So how what should I write, or how do I write it?
Image tag.
Nope, it's not an image, it's a favicon. So how do we write favicons? You just have to write link, okay, and then search for this favicon, link, and then favicon, and then this href is going to take from you the link of what you want to display. So we're gonna say this we want to display. Save it. And now we should have a favicon, and we cannot see it because it's black. So let me get another. This is too big. This is black. Right, it's good. Right click, copy image address, and let's say instead of this page, we're gonna put this one. Yeah, okay. So now to the main part. I'm gonna say it again. If you don't get anything, you have to stop me. You can say that we have to do it again, and we're gonna do it again. It's not a problem, okay? But the website I'm gonna give you from now on, it should be exactly like the website I'm assigning you. Is this sure? It's not. This isn't the actual KFC. Wait, this isn't the actual KFC. I guess it was, yeah, Mr. Rohil's. So we need to get the actual KFC. Okay, so yeah. So the coding should always start from the top part. So what do you see at the top? What are you seeing at the top? The nav bar, yeah. And how do we design it? Like how many divs, how many elements inside that nav bar? So I'm gonna open the pane, and you have to dictate me that how do I draw this. Okay, so what do you see? How many divs do we see at the top level?
6.
Yeah, it is. Is it 6 at the top level? Since
that's 4.
nope, since both of these are side by side, so what does it mean? They have a parent, so basically we have how many divs? Just one. And how many divs do we have inside this div? You have to judge based upon the space. So how many divs do we have inside this? Inside the main div? Based upon the space, the bigger space. So how many divs do we? How many? How much?
2.
2, yeah. The left side, and then we have the right side. And how many divs do we have inside the left side?
4.
Yeah, good. 4, again because of the space. So we have this KFC logo, the delivery, and then the pickup. And what about the right side? How many divs do we have for the right side?
2.
2, yeah, good. So the bucket and the button. Okay, let's move towards the left side. So in this delivery icon, how many, in this delivery button, how many divs do you see? 2, yeah. One for the image and one for the text. Okay, so the image and the text. What about this one?
2.
2 again, the image and the text. Okay, what about this bucket? How many divs do we see?
2.
2 again. One for the image that we have here, and one for the number. So this is the layout. So before coding anything, you have to first draw this layout. Okay, that's a must. So since we have the layout ready, so let's start with the coding. So inside the body, we are going to have the main div first, this one. So what should we do? What should we do? Come on, yeah, good, Adib. How do we create it? Nope. Yeah. So what's the shortcut for creating a div with a class? There was a shortcut. So let's say I want to have a div named navbar. So how do I create it? I just have to write what? Dot? Then dot and then navbar. That's it. So it's gonna create a div that has a class of navbar. Okay. So now the snap bar, basically this is highlighting this main div. So how many divs do we have inside the snap bar?
Two.
Two, yeah. So let's name it dot n left, meaning nav left, okay. And then the second one we're gonna say n right, meaning nav bar right, okay. So now we have this and this one in place. So let's move towards the left one first. So how many divs do we have inside the left one? How many divs do we have inside the left one?
Four.
Yeah, four. One for the menu icon, so I'm gonna say menu icon. One for this logo we had, this one, so I'm gonna say logo. Third one was for delivery, so I'm gonna say delivery. Fourth one was, make sure they are inside the same left. Fourth one was for the pickup, so I am going to say dot pickup. Okay, so let's move towards the right. How many divs do we have inside the right?
Two.
Two. One for the bucket and one for the login button. So I'm gonna say bucket, and I'm gonna say for this button I'll say login dash btn. Okay, so now we have a basic structure in place. So do you guys have any problem about this structure? If you have any, you can say and we can do it again. It's not a problem. So is it clear, the structure?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not gonna see anything here, okay, because by default all of these divs have a height of 0. They're not gonna be displayed unless you write something in them, okay. So let us start from this left one. So first div is for the menu icon. So where do we get our icons from? Like I wanna have this icon, well maybe not this one in particular, but something like this. So where do we get our icons from? How did you guys implement this in your website? Like how do you get the icons?
Clippy.
Sorry?
For the icon,
Yeah, for the icon. How do we get the icon? This icon. Like any icon.
Clippy. No, not Clippy. You can use favicon for
No, no,
icons,
no, no, no. Favicon is for this icon only. Okay. Favicon
and
refers
also
to.
you and also you can even take images and put it.
Yeah, we can do that, but I want to use icon. Icon and images are two different things. You know, these questions are basically like the interview questions. They're gonna ask you where would you get the icons. For example, if you were to give the front end interview questions, this might be a question there. So basically, there are two things
Bootstrap.
we're doing. Yeah, good, bootstrap. So basically, there are two things we're doing here. We're learning, plus we are preparing ourselves for the interview. So that's why I'm raining you down with the questions. So you have to answer. Okay, so the bootstrap. So we're gonna go towards the bootstrap. So I'm gonna say bootstrap icons. Okay, so what's the first thing we should do in order to integrate icons into our website? What do we have to paste first in our code? All of these icons
Copy the
we have all of these icons. So what should we do first? There was something.
You need to copy the link.
Yeah, and what was that link called? It was called Syrian.
CDN.
And what does Syrian stands for? Again, it's one of the interview questions. So what does Syrian stands for? This is something that's gonna be used again and again. So you should be now.
Uh,
Yeah.
it was content.
Yeah.
Uh, content. Hold
And
on.
then D stands for,
Delivery.
like if I have to transport one thing,
Delivery
delivery, yeah. And then N
network.
stands for network, yeah.
Network.
Content delivery network. So copy this one, first one, and where do I paste it? Where should I paste it? Inside the menu icon?
Inside the head.
Yeah, inside the head. So paste. So now after pasting this link, we can use any icon we want. So let's go at the top and then search for, let's say, list. So let's use this one. Click it and then copy this. This is your icon. Okay, copy it. So what are icons? Are icons images or what are they? How do we categorize
Text.
icons?
The text.
Yeah, good. Icons are text. So now we have this icon. If you can see it, okay, it's quite small, but this is our icon. Okay, so now the icon is in place. Now we want this one. Do not copy this one because it's gonna be okay. Let's do something. Okay, so we have discussed how do we put images using the links. Yeah, so now we're going to discuss how we can put images that are something local to our computer. We have discussed something like you have to create first shortcut and then copy the path, but that's not how you do it in VS Code. So what you're going to do is you're going to click save image. Okay, and let's say I'm going to save it inside my folder, this one. So I'm going to say, let's name it logo and then save. So now back in VS Code, you can see we have this image called logo.png. Okay, so now inside the logo div, I'm gonna have an image. And what's the source? Where is this image? Where is this image present? Where is this image present? Like which image do
In the
you?
logo file
Yeah, and where is that logo file located?
on your desktop.
Nope, it's located
Oh,
right
right
here.
here, right
Yeah.
here, yeah.
So we're just gonna say logo, and what was the extension?
PNG.
Dot png. Save it, and now we have this logo. Okay, let's move towards this one. Now this one has a lot of work, not a lot of work, but more work than both of these. So inside the delivery div, how many more divs do we have? How many divs do we have inside the delivery?
Two.
Two, yeah, one for the image and one for the text. So what should we name a div for the image? Does it have to be a specific name, or we can name it whatever we want?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, so give me a sensible name for the image that is inside the delivery div. What can be a sensible name? Come on, any name. Could be anything. Just give me any name.
Anything related to delivery?
Yeah, it should relate to delivery.
Should we just write delivery one?
Yeah, we can write it, but how do we, make it, let us, how do that word refer to the image? It should refer to the delivery and it should refer to the image.
Can we just go deliver?
Deliver, but it's still not referring to the image. Give me a name that would refer to delivery and image both at the same time. And it should be short. Longer names, it's hard to call them in CSS then. A simple yet a name that is referring to both delivery and the image.
I could just think of delivery.
But we already have a delivery, so it's gonna contradict.
The delivery. Well, you have to keep it short, like
Yeah.
3 letters.
No, not just three. Maybe it can be big, but it shouldn't be that big. Shouldn't be that.
Delivery image.
Yeah, you can do that. Delivery image. It's good.
But that would be too long. Though.
Yeah, exactly. So what should we do? Although delivery image is good, but it's gonna be long. We can use. We're gonna say let's.
An abbreviation.
Yeah, like an abbreviation. So how do we do it? What should I write for the delivery? We can write D. Okay, and for the image we can write img. Now does that make any sense? Like D image.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's short. Now it's referring to both delivery and it's referring to both image, and not both, just the image. Okay, so one for the D image. And what about this one for the text? What should we name the div for the text that is referring to delivery?
D dash text.
Yeah, d dash, let's say txt. Okay, dot d txt. Okay, so inside the d image we are going to have an image, and that is going to be this image. Right click, copy image address. I'm gonna say img, and then paste it and save it. And inside the d text we're gonna have h5. What is this h5?
Heading 5?
Yeah, heading 5. Is it a big heading or a small one?
Small.
Yeah, small. So what's the big one?
H1.
Yeah, h1 is the biggest. Okay, so now back into the website. So this is too big. What should we do?
The width.
Yeah, width what the image. So image has its own attribute with the name of width. So we're gonna say let's say 30 pixels. Yeah, it's good. So we're gonna do the same thing with the pickup. So inside the pickup, there are again two divs. This image and the text. So what should be the image and what should be the text named? What should we name the image div for the pickup?
You could do P dash.
Yeah, good. P dash image. And for the text, we can say P dash.
P dash text.
Yeah, good. Inside the image, we're gonna say image. And the width should be same with the upper one. It should align with the upper one, so it 30 pixels. And for the P, we're gonna say h5, and it's going to say pick up. Okay, great. So the left side, we're done with the left side. So now we're gonna move towards the right side. So right side has this bucket and the login begin. So this bucket, first of all, we're gonna need this bucket image. So for that, we're gonna say right click, but there's no copy image address. Why is it? Why doesn't it have the image address? And we have discussed about this in our, I guess, second last class.
Why doesn't the button have what?
Why doesn't this bucket has the
The bucket?
yeah, the bucket has this copy image address, although this bucket is an image. So why doesn't it have the copy
It's
image address? We've discussed about this.
because it's an icon.
No, it is an image, because this image is
Mhm.
implemented using CSS. We've discussed about the ways to implement image, yeah, using HTML and using CSS. Like there are two ways to embed image in our website, by using HTML, by using image tag, okay, and by using CSS with the property of background image. Do you guys remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it's that background image. So I'm gonna say right click, inspect, and it's gonna have, this is our HTML part and this is our CSS part. Okay, so this
Yeah.
button is referring to this bucket. This bucket is also a button,
Mhm.
okay, and this right here is referring to the CSS of this button. So if you were to see here, we have this background image property implemented. Okay, so this is our bucket. I'm going to click on this one. It's going to redirect me to this bucket. So now we can copy this image. Right click, copy image URL, and now we can just paste this inside the bucket. Okay, so since the bucket has how many divs? One for the
Two.
image, yeah, good, and one for the number. So what should we name the image part? For the bucket image, what should we do? What should we name the div? What should be the div
Uh,
named for the image?
could do B
Yeah,
dash
good.
image.
Yeah, it can be b dash image. So inside that b dash image, we're gonna have an image. Paste it. We're gonna put width and let's say 40 pixels. And for the text, we can say b
P
text
dash text.
txt, or you can call it number, b number, whatever you want, but it should be a sensible name. Okay, that should refer to the parent. So for the time it's going to be let's say h50.
I have a question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you know how you tell us to put sensible names, but is it okay that if we were to use like longer names on our terms,
Yeah, yeah, it's
just
totally
like it
okay.
would still go through, right? But you're just telling us the easier way, right?
Yeah, exactly. So basically, why am I telling you that? You have to call these names inside CSS. Yes. So when you
Yeah.
were to call them in CSS for the longer name, it's gonna be hard to type all of it, and it's harder to remember those names. So, but if you're comfortable with using longer names, and if you're comfortable with calling them in CSS, it's totally fine. You can name it whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
Oh.
Okay.
And it has to be a sensible name.
Yeah, it has to be a sensible name for your own sake. Again, it doesn't affect your coding.
Oh, just so we could remember
Yeah,
what we
exactly.
did.
Yeah,
Okay.
they can be anything.
Okay.
So now we have this button and sorry, bucket and zero. So now we're left with the last thing, that is this login btn. Okay, so inside the same and right, yeah, that is navbar right, and in the login btn we are going to have a button, and this button is going to say log in. Now we are done with our structure. Okay, any problem with the structure?
No.
Any problem? Because we're not gonna do a lot of stuff today, okay? And that is because you guys need to do everything on your own. And from now on, there shouldn't be any groups. You have to do on your own, okay? No groups.
Okay.
Everything should be done. Each person should do it individually. Okay, because from now on things are gonna get little difficult. So if you were to be in groups, so it'll be it's not gonna have a lot of a good effect on you. So every assignment should be on individual basis. Okay, so now what we want to do is, and I'm not gonna do I'm not gonna assign you a lot of work. It'll be easy, maybe 2 sections each day, but it should be individual work. Okay, so now what we want to do is, we want to have this left section and this right section to be side by side. What should be done?
Display flag
Very good. Display flex on what?
on
Which
both of
thing?
them.
On the, sorry?
Wait, to both of them, right?
No. Think again.
On
Look
the parent.
On the
carefully.
parent.
Yeah, and who's the parent of this left and right? I'm gonna open the code. So who's the parent of left and right?
The nav bar.
Yeah, good. The nav bar. So first of all, all of them are basically side by side. But first we have to look at the upper level section. Okay, the main parent section. So the coding should always start from parent to child's. Okay. So first question is, basically the problem with us is at the moment is that HTML has a different file, CSS has a different file. Like both of them doesn't know how do we contact each other. So how do we link up these two? For example, if I were to, let's just select body, and I'm gonna say background color red, nothing's going to happen. Why is that?
I remember we did this.
Yeah, we did this. And what was that?
We need to link them.
Yeah, good.
We have to link the CSS file in the
Exactly.
HTML file.
Good, good, exactly. So we have to link the styles to this HTML. And how do we link it? Similar to how we link the favicon. So how do we link it?
We have to. Do we have to create the file?
It's the
No, no, we
styles
already we
tag.
already created the file.
The styles tag.
Nope, you put styles tag only when you have to do internal styling. At the moment we are doing external styling, like outside of this HTML file. So what we have to do is, we are going to come inside the head. Okay, we are going to link it. You've said it correctly that we have to link both of these files. And how you can do that? With the link tag. So we're going to say link. Okay, it's going to create everything
Mm-hmm.
on its own. Link. And then which file do we have to link to this HTML?
The styles.
Yeah, good. It's named styles. So we're going to say styles and then
Dot
very good
CSS.
.css. Now if I were to save it and go back, now we have our CSS and HTML linked up. Okay, so that's how you can link both of these two. So let's get back to styling. Okay, first of all we have to get left and right side by side. So we're going to put display flex on the parent, and that is our nav bar. So go back to VS Code. We're going to select nav bar. How do we select the nav bar?
Dot
Dot
nav.
Very
navbar.
good. Dot nav bar, that was the name. and I'm going to say display flex.
Flex.
Good. So now they are aligned side by side, left and right. But why aren't these aligned side by side? These four.
Do they have a different parent?
Very good. Different parent. Who's the parent of this one? Let me open up the code, and you can tell me then. Okay. Who's the parent of the left section?
And left?
Very good. And left. So what I want to do is, I want to get the left one and the right ones, the right div and the left div side by side simultaneously, like at once. How do I select multiple elements?
Dot left.
No, it was dot and left.
Oh,
And then I want to select the right one as well.
and then comma,
Very good. Comma and
and then the right.
then and right, and then dot and right. And we're gonna say display and then flex. Yeah, now this side by side. But what I want to do is I want to spread them apart like this, like they have a lot of space between them. So what should we do? We want to spread them on the x-axis.
Justify
Very
content.
good. Justify content on which element? On and left or right or nav bar? Like I'm gonna spread the left side and the right side apart.
The nav bar.
Very good. Nav bar, because left one and the right one are the children of nav bar. So we want to spread the left and the right apart. So it has to be inside the parent. So we're gonna say justify content space. What should we do? Like what is this? Between, around, evenly. What is it?
Space around.
Very good. Space around. So we're gonna say space around. So that's it. Okay. So now we want to have a little gap between the left and the right. What's the property?
Gap.
Yeah, good. Gap to where? Nav bar on and left or and right?
Left and right.
Very good. Left and right. Left, let's say I'm gonna say 2 rem, I guess would be good. Yep, it's good. So now if you were to pay a little attention to the left and the right, they are not aligned. Like the menu is on top, logo is a bit in the bottom, and then we have this that's again at the bottom. So how do we line them, like in a straight line? Like at the moment it's like this. Wait. At the moment everything is like this. The menu is here, the logo is here, the delivery is here, and the pickup is here. How to align them so that they are like this, straight?
Align items.
Yeah, good. Align items. And the next time I'm not gonna make this layout. So you have to judge on your own. So if you were to now see this, the menu icon is at the top, and then it's at the bottom, and then they are again more at the bottom. Okay. So you have to judge on your own. So where do we put align items? On the left or on the nav bar?
The nav bar.
Okay, let's put align items and then center. So yeah, they are kind of, yeah, we have to put on the both of them. So what are these both of them called? They are called, yeah, left and right. So we're gonna say align items in the center. So now they're perfectly in the center. But there's a problem with this one. What do we have to do in order to get them like this? Like I'm gonna get them side by side. How do we get them side by side? The image and the delivery. No, 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 no. I wanna get them side by side. The image and the delivery. Just like we did with the.
Put them together.
No, no, no. Just like we did with left and right. Like I want to get them side by side, aligned side by side.
Display. Flex.
Yeah, exactly. Display flex on what? On what do I put display flex in order for them to be in the center? Here's your code, and now you can tell me. On which cloud?
Delivery and pickup.
Yeah, good. Delivery and pickup. So I'm gonna select both of them simultaneously. What should I do? Just like the left and right.
Delivery.
Very good. Dot delivery. DELIV. Alright. Delivery, comma, and then dot. And then I can say display flex. Yeah. But there's a problem again, yeah. And what's the problem? Now this time I'm not gonna draw everything. You have to judge
They're
on your.
not aligned.
Yeah, they're not aligned. So what should we do?
Mm-hmm.
What's the property? Like the image is on the top section and delivery is a little bottom.
The align items.
Yeah, good. So we're gonna say align items in the center. Yeah, it's good now. So we want to have a little gap between them. So we're gonna say what? Gap, let's say 1 rem. And also, if you were to look at this text, it's uppercase and ours is not. So what should we do?
That's transform.
Very good. We're gonna say text transform to be uppercase. Yeah, it's good now. So now there's one last thing that's remaining. I want to get this 0 right in the center of this bucket. What should we do? Like gonna move this 0 according to its parent. What should be done?
Do at position it.
Yeah, very good. Exactly, positions. And when would you use When would you use positions? When you want to move something relevant to something. Like in this case, I want to move this 0 according to this bucket. So I'm gonna say positions, and let me reduce this gap a bit because it's too much. Yeah, now it's good. So who's gonna be position relative and who's gonna be position absolute? Here's your code. Here's the code and here's the output. So who's gonna be position relative and who's gonna be position absolute?
The bucket is relative.
Very good. Because why is that? Why should the bucket be relative? The answer is really simple. Because bucket is the parent.
The parent.
Yeah, good. And the 0 is going to be the absolute because it's a child. So the bucket is going to be positioned relative and this b text is going to be positioned absolute. So I'm going to say bucket and it's going to be position relative, and for the absolute one I'm going to say b text txt is going to be positioned absolute. So what were those three magical properties in order for anything to be in the center? What should I do in order for this 0 to be in the center? How do we get?
Position top.
Yeah, good. Top 50%, and then
Left
Left.
50%.
left 50%. Yeah, good. And then
Translate, transform.
no, you have swiped the
Transform,
yeah
translate.
transform translate
And then
and
negative 50.
negative 50%. Good, and
And then negative
negative
50%.
50%. So that's right in the center. So now we're left with the last part, that is your button. So what was the name of the button? What's the name of the button?
You login button.
Login.
Yeah, login BDN.
Oh,
So
login.
login dash BDN. And what should we do? Like, gonna get this exact color, this one.
Colorzilla.
Colorzilla.
Colorzilla, and then copy it, and simply I'm gonna say background, and then this. It's not going to work. What's the reason? It's not going to work. Like everything
The
is correct.
height.
Sorry?
Was it the height?
No. We've discussed about this. So what's the problem here?
Because you have to link.
Yeah. I have to make what? Look, what are we targeting? We're targeting here. We are targeting
The button.
login
Button.
BDN.
The button.
No, we're not targeting the button. We're targeting the div of the button. Yeah. So basically,
Yeah.
this login BDN is targeting
Oh.
what? It's targeting the div. It's not targeting the button. Okay? Did you guys get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's basically targeting
Yeah.
the div. So if you were to zoom it a bit, you would see the color here. Can you see this red color?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
basically,
yeah.
that is targeting the
Oh, do
div
we
of
have
the
to use display block?
No, there's something else.
No,
So
it'll be the login button.
it should be the button, yeah. So basically,
Yeah.
what we are doing right now is here we are targeting the login BDN div, not the button. Okay. So if I were to do this, look, if I were to just say button, what would happen? It's gonna work, but there'll be a problem here. And what would that problem be? So when I
It'll be
say,
all the buttons.
yeah, good, it's gonna target every button in our HTML, but we don't want that. We just want to have this button to have this color. So what was the concept we discussed about? It was called specificity, where you get specific, like I want this button only. So we're gonna say login bdn, okay, just like it was saying before. So login dash bdn, but this is going to target the div. So what we'll do is we're going to put space here and then we'll say
And by
button.
button.
Yeah, so what this is going to do is it's going to go inside the login bdn div. Okay, it's going to catch this one, it's going to target this login bdn, and then it's going to say get inside that div and get me the button that is inside this div. So it's going to target only which button?
The login button.
Yeah, so it's going to target the button that is inside the login bdn div. Okay, if I were to save it, so it's gonna do the same, but wait, let me create another button so it's gonna be more clear. So I'm gonna say button outside the login period name. Okay, test. It wouldn't have that color. Why is that? Why
Because they're
doesn't
not the same.
Yeah, because it's saying that the button that is only inside the login button should have a color of red. But if I were to remove this, now what would happen?
It will be all the
Yeah, it
buttons.
would target all the buttons. Okay, so that's the difference between targeting the button only, that's going to target everything, and getting specific, that is get me the button that is inside this specific div. Okay, so let me remove this one. Okay, so what more should be done in order to have a button like this? What more property should we write?
The text color.
Very good, the text color. And what's the property for text color?
Color.
Yeah, good, color. Let's be white, it'll be white. What more should we do?
Padding.
Good, padding. So I'm gonna say padding, and let's say 1 rem and 2 rem. What does this mean? What would this mean? I guess we've discussed a lot about this.
Bottom.
Very good, top and bottom, 1 rem, and then this one is?
Bottom.
No. This one is,
Left and right.
yeah, good. This one is top and bottom, and this one is from left and right. So we're gonna have more space from left and right, but I guess it's too much. So let me remove this one. Let's 0.5 and change this 2 to back to 1. Yeah, now it's good. So what more? What more should we do in order to make this
So,
appealing?
change uppercase.
Yeah, good. Uppercase. How do we make it uppercase?
Text transform.
Very good. Text transform. The uppercase. Good. What more? Let me show you this button. Okay, so what is inside this button that we don't have? Or what do we have that this button doesn't have?
The border radius.
Yeah, good. We have the border radius. We don't have the border radius. We're gonna say border radius. That's a 5px. There's one last thing remaining. We have this ugly looking, this, what is this?
Of the border.
Yeah, the border. So we're gonna
So
say
none.
border. Good, none. So that's our button. I'm not gonna do anything else from this point onwards. So this is your homework only. That's it. And this is all we're gonna study. Because I've have this something. Unless you guys are totally ready, like unless you guys are are comfortable with Flex and with comfortable designing websites, I'm not gonna do a lot of work. We'll just do 1 section or 2 sections daily, and that'll be it. Any
So you
problem?
just want us to make the nav bar,
Yeah, just the navbar, but it has to be individual.
and it
Like,
has to be just like this website, same.
exactly like same. But you should do on your own. There should not be any groupings from now on. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, you can search on your own, but you should not what should I say? You should not ask you group members or anything like that. You have this assignment should be like individual assignments. Okay, so that's it. You just have to create this nav bar, and that'll be it.
Okay.
That's all homework you have to do. Okay, so you have to submit me before the next class. You and now what you're gonna do is you're gonna remove every bit of coding you did in this previous week, remove it,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and start all over again. And now you have to
Okay.
create this website with me side by side. Like any sections I'm gonna do today, you're gonna have me submit before the next class.
Got it.
Okay, so any problem or any questions you have, you can ask. Feel free because it's really important. This flex, I'm gonna repeat again, it's really important in order to have, a good
I just
design.
have one. I don't.
Yeah,
It's not a question, but I was doing my homework.
okay,
So when I was going and I was even looking at like the icons and everything, I was able because it's a Pakistani website. So I was on the Pakistani KFC website,
okay,
and I was able to just right click and copy link address of the image.
yeah,
So is that okay?
yeah, yeah.
Because you said to use the icon website,
No, 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 it's
but like
total.
you said earlier that when I told you to do it, you said that you would rather do the other one,
Yeah, so
the
basically,
icon.
so what's this? Is this? So basically, images. Most of the time, if you were to copy images address, okay, if you're gonna do that, so most of the
Yeah.
time, what happens is so the link basically gets corrupted. Okay, most of the time it
Oh,
happens. So link
okay.
mostly gets corrupted. So if links get corrupted, so what do you think would happen?
It would clash, like it would the whole thing.
Yeah, it's not gonna be displaying the image you wanted to display. So
Yeah.
whereas these icons you're seeing here, okay, so they are from a legit website. What you see here,
Okay.
Bootstrap, it's one of the you can say the one of the biggest component libraries for CSS we have in the world right now. Okay,
Yeah.
so the chances of crashing, the chances for this website to crash are like bare minimum as compared to anything you're gonna copy.
Oh, okay, got
Okay,
it. Yeah,
so
even for the deals on the bottom for the burgers, I was just able to copy link address and add it to mine.
which one? This one, this one.
Yeah. No, on the top, meaning like the actual burgers in the picture,
Okay, this
the
one. Yeah, yeah,
everyday
yeah. You
pan.
have to copy this. You have to copy this. These ones.
Yeah, the link address just to match the description on the bottom because it's different for the Pakistan
Yeah,
website.
yeah. It's totally fine. These are images. These you cannot find icons for these one. Okay, so if you were copying these were totally fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what you have to do for today. Okay, and for tomorrow we can say we're gonna create up until this point. But for today you have to do this. But it has to be individual work. Okay. I'm not gonna burden you with all of the work. Just one section or two sections daily. Okay.
Okay,
So
sounds good.
any question?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, that's good. So we can inshallah have a meeting tomorrow. So
Okay.
Allah Hafiz, we'll meet tomorrow.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.